Hey there, I'm Stacy Pelot with L.A.M.B.S Ministry, and I'm going to conclude our series on words. You enjoyed Stephanie and Shay's teaching about words, and today I'm going to talk about the power of our words. Words have real power. God spoke the world into being by the power of His words, as we find in Hebrews 11:3. And we are in His image in part because of the power we have with words. Words do more than convey information. The power of our words can actually destroy one's spirit, even stir up hatred and violence. They not only aggravate wounds, but inflict them directly. Of all the creatures on this planet, only man has the ability to communicate through the spoken word. The power to use words is a unique and powerful gift from God. Our words have the power to destroy and the power to build up. That can be found in Proverbs 12:6. The writer of Proverbs tells us, "The tongue has the power of life and death, and those who love it will eat its fruit." That's Proverbs 18:21. Are you using your words to build up people or destroy them? Are they filled with hate or love, bitterness or blessing, complaining or compliments, lust or love, victory or defeat? Like tools, they can be used to help us reach our goals or send us spiraling into a deep depression. Only words have the power to bring us death or life in this world, but in the next as well. Jesus said, "But I tell you that men will have to give an account on the day of judgment for every careless word they have spoken. For by your words you will be acquitted, and by your words you will be condemned." And that can be found in Matthew 12:36 through 37. Words are so important that we're going to give an account of what we say when we stand before the Lord Jesus Christ. As I was preparing this teaching, I remembered a YouTube video that I watched about an experiment with rice. They cooked white rice and placed them in two separate jars. One they labeled love, and one they labeled hate. Then they put the jars in separate rooms. Every day, for the next 7 days, they would go to the love jar, and in their sweet little voice, they would say sweet little words like, "You're the prettiest rice. We're so glad you're here. We love you." For the jar labeled hate, they would go into the room and they would say in their meanie voice, "You're the ugliest rice. We wish you were not here. You're just going to turn brown." After 7 days, it was amazing to see the love jar. It was filled with white, fluffy rice, and the hate jar had totally liquefied and did not resemble rice at all. The thing that it was created to be was destroyed by words, and that's a powerful thing. Several years ago, I had a dream. My family and I were in a large field having a picnic. Over to the side there was a field, and it had high grass, and my children were playing, and I began to notice that the grass was moving around. I realized that there was a snake in the ground. I started screaming for my children to get out of the way and run to our van. All of a sudden, the snake, which was huge, came up out of the grass and started shooting venom onto our skin. We made it to our van and shut the door. But the snake was with us, and the venom came shooting out of it and landed on my children. I woke up, and I immediately knew in my spirit that I had had a prophetic dream. I got up and I began to pray, and I asked the Lord to help me to understand. Well, it's not always easy when the Lord brings correction to our life, but I wanted to know the truth. The Lord spoke to my heart and said, "Stacy, you have a heart for your children. You want to protect them. You want to keep them from harm and make sure they are safe. I got the children to safety, but the venomous snake was still in the van." I kept asking the Lord, what did that mean? And He said, "Your words represent the venom. As you are trying to protect your children, your words are like the venom and the poison that is wounding them." That's a hard realization for me. But the truth that night that God revealed to me started to set me free and put me on a journey to use my words in a better way. Ecclesiastes 10:12 in the NIV version says, "Words from the mouth of the wise are gracious, but fools are consumed by their own lips." I want to encourage you to take an inventory of your words. How many positive words are you speaking throughout your day? How many negative words are making their way out of your mouth? There is power of life and death in our words. Think about the rice. Let's make a commitment together not to speak negative words. You set the time limit. This will give you and me an idea if we are really speaking life or death. The truth is, we can make the necessary changes to become more positive speaking people. When someone asks you how you are doing, you may have a cold or something bothering you. Do you know what you say produces what you will be? I'm not suggesting that you lie or deny your situation, but your words in that moment matter. For instance, instead of saying, "Oh, I feel horrible, my throat is killing me, and my head is about to explode," your words could be something like this: "I'm fighting a cold. Please pray for me." Just be aware that your words produce where you're going. We are speaking over our bodies, and we can choose to bless or curse ourselves. Jesus reminded us that the words we speak are actually from the overflow of our hearts. Matthew 12:34 through 35 in the Message says, "You have minds like a snake pit. How do you suppose what you say is worth anything when you are so foul-minded?" It's your heart, not the dictionary, that gives meaning to your words. A good person produces good deeds and word season after season. A evil person is blithe on the orchard. Let me tell you something. Every one of these careless words is going to come back to haunt you. There will be a time of reckoning. Words are powerful. Take them seriously. Words can be your salvation. Words can be your damnation. I want to share a few tips from my own personal journey. Number 1, inventory your heart. Just sit with the Lord and take a few minutes and ask Him how you are using your words. Ask Him if there's any offenses in your heart that you need to deal with in order to help you to speak more positive. 2, say you're sorry to the ones you have hurt with your words. Sometimes just going to that person and making things right can set things right in your life with the Lord. 3, practice saying compliments and speaking positive words. Sometimes if that's not an easy place for you to go, it does take a little practice, and that's okay. The more you practice, the better you'll get. 4, give yourself some grace. It's not always easy to change, but with Jesus and practice, it is possible. I have a little story I want to share with you. Several years ago, I made a New Year's resolution that I was going to start telling the people in my life that I love them. And so I began to tell my nanny and my mom every time I would talk to them on the telephone, "I love you." At first, it was a little awkward because our family hasn't always done that. And so I was kind of met with, "You too," and "Okay, talk to you later." But after several weeks of saying, "I love you," I was met with, "I love you too." And that's been probably 12 years ago. And now I say it to my children every time I talk to them, to my husband, my mother-in-law, my sister, my daughter, my mom. Everyone I talk to, I say, "I love you." Because the truth is, we all like to hear those words. Again, words are powerful. Use them to bless others. You will feel better and be set free from the negative, stinking thinking and speaking. Please contact L.A.M.B.S Ministry if you need someone to pray with you or encourage you. You can go to the web, lambsministry.com. We are here to help you, and we love you. Now, Shay and Stephanie will join us for a follow-up discussion. God bless you. Well, thank you for joining us for our roundtable discussion. I just finished my teaching on the power of words. And girls, I know that, Shay, you talked about prayer and the words that we use in prayer, and you also talked about encouraging words and how that's so important to shape us and mold us. And I think I took it the next step, how our words have power of life and death, and just gave a few little tips how we maybe can tweak the things that we say. Like, for instance, if we have a cold or something going on, a health issue, we don't have to agree with that. We don't have to say, "I have cancer." We can say, "I'm fighting cancer." And those words carry so much importance with them to give us life or death. And we don't want to pronounce those things over our life or over the people we love. So, can you think of an incident in your life maybe where someone has spoken? You did the positive. Let's talk a little bit about some negative things. Have you had anyone speak things over you that you felt really damaged you or hurt you? And maybe how you process that. Let's just go there for a minute.
I mentioned in my lesson that I had a grandmother who was very encouraging, extremely encouraging. But then on the other, flip side, I had another grandmother who was she wasn't mean, she was just bluntly honest.
Yeah.
And she was much older than my other grandmother, and she just from being from that Depression era, she just kind of told it like it is. And if you had a pimple, she'd tell you, and if you had gained a few pounds, she would tell you. She did that to everybody.
Yeah,
and it was hard.
So did you want to be around her?
No.
Okay.
And I said that in my lesson that it really took me maturing as a woman.
Yeah.
And coming to the realization that she wasn't being intentionally hurtful.
Right.
She just was being the person.
What is it they call? That's just her way.
Yeah,
that's
exactly. That was her way,
her way.
And she didn't mean it to hurt me, but it did leave a lasting impression.
Sure,
Absolutely.
Those words can go deep in our heart, and it is so crazy how someone can say sweet words, and you will always remember those. But when somebody has said something hurtful or damaging, it's like they play over and over and over. How about you, Shay? Any? I know your mom really built you up. But did you ever have any?
She did, but on the flip side of that, my mom is very fearful. She's always been very fearful. So especially with Joshua and being there from the beginning, you know what I mean? I can see, and her mother was fearful, and and all the women on that side of the family, I can see where automatically, if you're going somewhere, you're doing this, it's automatically, well, be careful, there's crazy people out, it's those types of things where you're kind of always okay, there's a wolf around every corner type of thing. Right. So as far as building me up, she was very good about building me up, but just that
other
that
side.
Constant, I'm fearful. I think that has made, and not intentional. My mom would have never done that in a million years intentionally, but
that can be a habit. I did it with my kids. If they'd run through the house, if you don't stop running through the house, you're going to hit the wall and break your neck or something like that. We don't realize that we say things like that. Yeah. I remember one time Andrew was leaving out of the house and he was driving my car, and at that time I had a car that would go real fast, and I told him, I said, "Don't you drive that car fast. You will get a ticket." Well, guess what?
He got a ticket.
He came home with a ticket. Yeah. Yes. And I just thought, man, that is power in my words, And so things like that we don't realize when we say them, how we create those things. Oftentimes they come through our life. But, the discouraging word can be turned around, and that was one of the things that I shared, how years ago, I guess it's been 12 years or maybe even longer now, I can't really remember, but I did a New Year's resolution to tell my family and my friends that I loved them. And that took practice, and it took me forming a habit of doing that with my family and my friends, but I have seen how that has caught on.
Yeah.
And now everybody I talk to, I say, I love you. And I had a lady at church, she was on the phone with me, and I said, well, I love you, when we were hanging up, and she came to me at Bible study the next time we were together, and she said, my husband was in the car with me when you said I love you, and he was like, did she say I love you? And she's like, yeah, she did. And she said, I didn't say it back because I just don't make a practice of that. And I said, well, you can always work on that,
We did the little love notes for the girls during the month of February because we had been doing the love language books or whatever. But it was so interesting how they responded. By the end of February, we were like, okay, we got to think of one more thing which sounds horrible, but 29 days is 29 great
it's a stretch.
times 3 that you do, But the other day I was just having it was just one of those days, and I was struggling with another one of the little girls, and one of them came up to me and she just handed me a note, and she turned around and she walked off. And I opened it, and it was all the words that I had said to her on I hope you have a great day tomorrow. I love you to the moon and back, all those little things. And it almost made me cry because it was that realization of, we really do it's so they so carry it with them. We
Yes.
carry those things with us throughout, you know,
Yes.
and just making that mindful, like we talked about before, being intentional with the way that you're speaking it and the way
Yes.
that you're saying it, how much it
Yes.
impacts them.
Right.
You know,
And our words matter.
Yeah.
And one of the things I read was our words can build up or they can tear down, and how we are going to give an account
Yeah.
for every word. And I just hope y'all are not behind me in the line, because I may be up there a little while.
I actually mentioned that in my lesson. I was like, because my dad always said that. He's like, be careful what you say, because
Yes.
one day you'll give an account for every word that comes out of your
Yes.
mouth. It was like,
I know. So anyway, it's just it's a blessing and a burden sometimes being able to have
Absolutely.
words in it. But we want to choose life and the people that we're around to speak life over them. So, well, great. Thank you, ladies, for sharing this time at the table with us. And thank you for joining us for Your Heart Matters. If you need to get in contact with the ministry, it's lambsministry.com. We love you and we're praying for you. And always remember, your heart matters.
If you would like to donate to Lamb's Ministry, please visit our website, lambsministry.com. All donations are tax deductible and help expand the reach of the ministry. Thank you for your consideration and have a blessed day.